Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a few things you'll want to know about what's been happening in immigration news. My name is Mejer. I'm an immigration attorney and an immigrant. I came to the US as a child. We overstayed our visas and I was lucky enough to get a green card through amnesty. I had to do that because the attorney my parents hired didn't do a darn thing. I don't want your immigration journey to be as long or as stressful as mine was, and that's why I do what I do. I share information about immigration to help make a confusing, complex, and slow system a little easier to understand. If there's something you'd like to know about, please post it below in the comments and we'll try to get to it as soon as we can. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can see our videos when we post them. You may have heard about a German concentration camp soldier who was recently deported back to Germany. If you read any news stories about this, the man was quite elderly, over 90 years old. He gave some interviews and expressed anger that he was being deported after such a long time and with how old he was. He felt like since it's been so long, it shouldn't matter what he did in World War II. I bring this up because I think it's important for people to know. For ICE and USCIS, it does not matter how long ago something was. And even if you're now a citizen, if you lie on your application or you have something in your past that can disqualify you that they didn't discover before, like being a Nazi during World War II, you can be deported. There's a question right in the N400 that asks you, were you a part of the Nazi party? And if you said no, and it was later discovered that you were, guess what? You committed fraud and you could lose your citizenship. Now, let me tell you about a recent question we had on our YouTube channel that made me think this was important to share. We had someone who wanted to know when they filed for their adjustment of status through a U visa, if they had to disclose that they used a different name in the past. They didn't include the information on their original U visa application, so should they now? They had wanted to avoid a $60 fine, so used a fake name to get a driver's license. If you have applied for an immigration benefit, you will see that most forms ask you to provide any names that you have been known by. This includes aliases. This means if you were married and had a different name, or if you had an ID with a different name, you need to put this on your application. If you had a nickname, like your name is James, but your family called you Jimmy, you don't need to put that in the application. You can, but you don't need to. What is important to put in is something that would be found in any official search, or if others knew you by another name. If you ever stopped by the police or arrested and provided a different name, that should definitely be in there, particularly if you were fingerprinted, because that will come up at some point. You may be wondering, why should you provide that information? Isn't it going to make you look bad and get you a denial? As I've said in other videos, if you aren't honest and it is discovered later, you may lose your immigration benefit up to and include being deported. Now, a U visa in this context provides a waiver for a lot of things. So using a fake name in and of itself should not make you ineligible and likely will be fixed by the waiver component of the U visa. But every case is different and it depends on what happened and how it happened. If you have questions, give us a call and we'll evaluate your particular situation. Back to the question. What can happen if you don't put this information on the application? If you don't put that information in there and it is discovered later, you may lose your immigration status. For some, there are also civil penalties such as fines that you could be subject to. So my answer to our viewer would be, first, probably talk to an immigration attorney to determine how to proceed in your specific situation. And second, make sure you include all the information that is asked for. And if you forgot or didn't on past applications, you need to explain now. You need to explain why you didn't do it now. I've mentioned this before. ICE is changing their focus. In the last administration, it had moved to getting people out of the United States. While that still remains important for those who have committed crimes, ICE has issued interim guidelines stating they are refocusing on keeping borders safe. As you know, there is a new head of Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. We expect him to release new guidelines in mid-May, about 90 days from when he was appointed in mid-February. When he does, it will be interesting to see how things are changed. One disturbing story we saw recently was that ICE is buying cell phone information like marketers do well, we're not exactly sure what they do with it, and they're not exactly sharing that information with us or with any reporters. But it has been suggested they are using it to track people across the border. In 2018, a Supreme Court decision said that the location data was protected and could only be obtained with a search warrant. How does DHS get around this? They aren't buying individual phone information. They are buying location data that marketers get. If we find out more about this, we'll let you know. But do keep in mind, when you download the free app, you're providing information to the government about where you are and what you are doing. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate all your likes, comments, and shares. Again, if you found value in this, please share it with your friends who may also learn more about U.S. immigration by watching this. Until next time, stay healthy and be well.